Right.
Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of Aimless Yarn podcast, where two best mates talk about funny stories and awkward. Can we do that again, Luke?
No, we're not doing it again. No, we're not doing it
Oh, don't
again.
leave that in. Please don't leave that in.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
Go on.
Right. 3, 2,
I'm
1.
not doing it again.
Yes, you are. You better
No,
do it
I'm
again.
not. Go on then.
Okay.
Okay. Three, two,
Okay.
one.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Aimless. I can't even speak today, Luke. Oh, what is wrong with me?
Oh,
Right, I'll try again. Okay.
it's like starting one of our films, isn't it?
It's like we've gone back to pilot again, isn't it?
Oh, God.
Oh, right, here we go. Right. Welcome to episode 4 of the Aimless. Oh, God. No, this is
Welcome to
right.
episode 4 of the Aimless Yarn podcast, where two best mates talk about random situations and stories from the past and basically reminisce and just try and have a bit of fun.
Yeah. And my name's John DeCunha.
And I'm Luke.
And Luke got it right, the introduction, and I got it miserably wrong.
I know, and I don't even have a script.
I
don't
know.
have a script.
It's like, I don't know, I'm a bit weird tonight, Luke, because I reading Grayson a story, before I went to bed, and I fell asleep with him. So I've had like an hour power nap, and I feel absolutely knackered now, so I can't get out. Oh, anyway, mate. So in this episode, we're going to talk about our first cars, Luke, aren't we?
Yeah.
And why, you might ask, and that's because you always seem to have a lot of fond memories about first cars, and a lot of funny stories. So that's the reason why we chose that.
It, John?
In a way,
Never
it
forget.
is for me. It is for me because I love cars, don't I? You know. So yeah. So what have you been up to, Luke, this week?
Well, it's not been as eventful as last week. Missing buses and stuff like that. But yeah, just picking up new tasks, and I've been on doing a bit of training today. So there's
All right.
my new role. So I've been losing the will to live.
Oh,
most of the day,
fantastic.
basically.
I haven't been picking up any random tasks, Luke.
No, random tasks, just normal tasks. Yeah. But yeah,
I hope you haven't been
nothing
throwing
really
your
to
shoe.
report this week at all.
I hope you haven't been throwing your shoe at anyone, Luke.
No, not like that. So nothing really to report. Nothing new this week. What about you? Have you been looking at any more shitty toilet roll or pebbles?
Oh,
in the shoe,
no, that didn't pop into my head. I've just been getting pretty stressed out, really, because in relation to the podcast, I've been looking at a new car, or looking at new cars, and me and cars have been looking for about 6 weeks. And I forgot how stressful it is trying to find a car, especially if the car you're looking at is German and every single thing is an option. So no German car is exactly the same because everyone picks options, and we just wanted certain ones, and it's took us ages. Anyway, we did find one, and we've bought it, and we're waiting for delivery because obviously we can't do any test drives. We can't go out of the region because of the lockdown. So yeah, it's the first time I'm ever going to be buying a car completely blind, and it's going to roll up on a truck, and it might be an absolute piece of shit, but we will.
So what have you bought?
We've just bought a Mercedes A-Class A180 CDI. Yeah,
Okay.
she's wanted one for a long time, ever since they came out. So I thought, yeah, let's get her one. Yeah, so yeah, so
Nice
it's been
one.
quite stressful, but now that stress is gone, I feel a lot better. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Yeah,
Good. Yeah.
yeah. So this brings us on to the story of what was your first car, Luke? And I
My
think I
first
remember.
car
Yeah.
was a Vauxhall Corsa, a blue,
What?
like electric blue one.
Was it more like a pale blue? I remember quite
No,
a
like
pale
a
blue.
metallic electric blue.
Because
I
I
you
seem
used
to.
to take mick out of me, say anybody else who drives around in a Corsa that colour's usually an old granny.
It was granny spec though, if I remember. It was a
Well,
very
yeah,
basic
very
spec.
basic, yeah.
Yeah, and can you remind everyone why you bought a Corsa, Luke?
Basically because that's what I learnt in. That's literally it. I liked it. I'd learnt in a Corsa, and I thought, I quite like this, and so that's why I went and bought it. But the thing is, I went on my own to buy it. I didn't have like my brother with me. You know what I mean? Just to kind of give me a bit of a like teach you how to
Bit of
actually
guidance.
buy a car. Yeah,
Bit of guidance.
Because you don't just go and buy a car, do you? You kind of you need to negotiate and you need to know what to look for. And
So you basically got your
I
pants
basically
pulled
went
down.
and went to this garage and looked at this Corsa and sat in it, and he goes, "Oh, I'll have it." I didn't test drive it. I didn't test drive it.
Yeah, it's very
Well, Azzy
familiar.
as well, was sales guy. You remember Stephen Aslam?
Oh,
He
you're
was sales.
joking.
Yeah, he was sales guy, and I remember sitting there in car, and I just kind of looked round and goes, "Oh, I'll have it." And I looked at him, and he had this biggie smile on his face, and I thought, "Oh, he's happy, I just didn't consider implications of just buying this bloody car without test driving it out. You know what I mean? But it turned out to be an alright car, But
Did it?
God,
Did he
as
pull
if
your pants
buy
down,
a
do you
car
think?
while he's sitting in it, I just
Well,
didn't know what I was doing.
I think he'd probably do that
I
now,
didn't
though,
fall
Luke,
for
to
that
be
again.
fair.
No, I didn't fall for that again after that. Like,
Yeah.
but the car were all right, but yeah, I didn't mind it.
Because was it a 1.2 litre?
No, it wasn't 1 litre.
Was it a one? Oh, yeah, they did a
Yeah.
1 litre.
Because
Weirdly,
I got a black one after that, which was a 1.2.
you have an SXI. Before we jump to your second car,
SXI,
Luke, we're talking about the first cars
First
first.
car.
Before we
I'm just
progress
going
on
to say
to the next one.
1.2. I think that's what you're thinking about, that one.
Yeah, well, weirdly, my sister, she had one like yours with the same engine, but hers with this special edition. Was it a Corsa C you had? Do you know what model numbers of them?
No, I don't know what it was. I don't
What?
know.
I
It didn't, have
think
any,
the
it didn't have any numbers or letters on it.
no, I'm talking about the model number. Like some cars have model numbers like instead of saying Mark 1, Mark 2, blah blah blah, they have a letter after it. So like a Nova would have been an A,
No, it didn't.
and then after that it would have been the first Corsa, which was a B, and then it would have been the next Corsa C. I think it is a Corsa C you had.
Right. Okay.
If my memory serves me right. But yeah, I do remember
Like
that
if you
car.
got the 52 plate.
Yeah, I think it was, mate. Where did you buy it from then?
I bought it from a
were
Renault garage in Huddersfield.
All
I don't know
right.
why I ended up at a Renault garage.
So, do you
know what I
do you
mean?
go
All
to
over.
So you go to Vauxhall and buy your Renaults, and you go to Renault to buy your
Yeah,
Vauxhalls.
basically.
Yeah. It's a
I
good.
don't know why it were there, and I don't know why I ended up there. Why did I go to Renault? Maybe I went to a Renault garage to see. I don't know. I can't.
You
even
probably.
answer
I
that
know what
question.
happened. You were probably walking past and thought, "Oh, they're nice Renaults," and I fancy buying a Vauxhall. Oh, there's Lookwood had it.
I don't know,
There's a
maybe I thought
Corsa
it were a
C.
Renault when I bought it.
You might have done,
No, that sounds
especially with your
perfect
car knowledge. So didn't your dad help you out? Didn't he offer to help? I mean, where was I? Because I would have helped you.
Well, I don't know. I were well.
Because you were a bit older, weren't you?
I didn't see my mates that much at that stage because I were kind of.
Working at Grosvenor.
Yeah, we're at casinos and working nights and stuff like that. So I kind of lost touch with you and a load of my mates because I just didn't get to see anyone.
Yeah, because you were constantly asleep.
Because I was either asleep or at work. Yeah, basically, people don't realise what working nights actually does to you. Because they think that it's just like you swap your day around, but your body knows that you're supposed to be asleep at night and awake in day. So
Yeah.
it actually has a really weird effect on your working nights.
So it's like jet lag, I guess.
Well, I suppose so, yeah. And like you do like 10 shifts on, and 2 and 4 off.
Yeah.
It'd kill you. But anyway, that's
mate.
completely off the subject.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, basically, I didn't see my mates. That's why I wouldn't have gone to you for any help.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Well, you know I would have helped you anyway. And took the piss out of you at the same time.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. So you blindly
Might be
bought your
why I
first
didn't
car.
go to you.
So, well, yeah. But, I mean, look, when you transferred from your learner Corsa, I mean, how old were you at the time? You were a bit older, weren't you? Because obviously medical
I
reasons
learned
and
to
stuff.
drive 2008, was it?
So that would have been what? Yeah. So you'd have been seven. Nah, that can't be right.
No.
So you'd have been 27.
No,
Nah,
I
I want that.
I
Was
don't
it?
know. 2004, that were it. Yeah, 2004.
So you would have been 23 because
Claire was
Luke
2008.
got you.
Yeah,
Because
2004.
you had to, obviously
Like back
because of
in the-
medical
yeah.
reasons. Yeah,
And
because obviously,
I was living with that lass at the time,
oh god,
and
that's
basically, basically, I was waiting. I couldn't wait to get my car so I could move out.
I think we should do another episode called Ex-Girlfriends.
No, God.
But yeah,
You know,
that was a
you know,
that was a
it's
bad
like-
choice. That one, Luke.
And when I met Claire at my brother's wedding,
Yeah.
that was my conversation with Claire, who I'm now married to. I basically just complained about my ex-girlfriend for about an hour.
Oh, she was right, bitch. I hope I never see another woman in my life again.
Yeah, and then
What's your name, love?
And now I'm married to her, you know. So obviously it worked.
So if you want a future wife, just moan about your ex-girlfriend. Luke's living proof.
Oh God.
Oh dear. But yeah, I do remember that car, mate. And something that I noticed, obviously, you played it safe a little bit, didn't you? Because you wanted probably confidence in that. You probably kept exactly the same car as the car you drove in, and then bought that, didn't you? But something else that transferred over, Luke, which I also realised, was your learner driver driving position, Luke.
What are you talking about, John?
Well, Luke is everyone has their own kind of driving position, but Luke has a particular driving position, and I like to
John
call
is
it
going to
the.
over-exaggerate it right now.
No, this is what I call it. It's called the windscreen kisser driving position. And
Totally over-exaggerate this every time.
well, bloody hell! I mean, I remember when you got it, and you must have come to drive to see me, and I didn't know if you were trying to clean something off your windscreen, but no, that was actually your driving position. Your forehead was firmly pressed against the windscreen, steering wheel pressed against the chest,
Yeah, but John, the way you use it, like you're
elbows out like
like
that,
you were in
elbows out.
bed. It's like you're in bed, you're leaning back like this. You can't even see the
So
dashboard,
we're complete
you're not
opposites in that way. I was like leaning back like a Jew, and Luke was just like a learner driver, but with a license this time. It was great. Do you still have that same driving position to this day, Luke?
Well, I like to be a bit closer, yeah, but I'm not like, I don't sit that close now, no.
You see, actually, an airbag to Luke is actually Luke's worst enemy because he might not die in a crash, but he'll have all his rib
Well, at
cage
least I have
crushed.
a bust nose and broken ribs, yeah.
Yeah, broken ribs and a broken nose. I survived.
Have you seen that video where that old woman's crossing that road and she's too slow and the guy beeps his horn at her and she whacks his car with her handbag and his airbag goes off.
Oh yeah, that's well old that.
He beeps his horn at her because she's crossing too slow, so she whacks his car with a handbag.
And it goes.
His airbag goes off.
That'd be you. Oh dear. So that was Luke's first car, but my first car. I'm about to talk about me now, Luke. Was a 1988 or maybe 89. I think it was an 89 actually. It was an F-Reg, which is 88, 89. Vauxhall Nova, 1 litre. And it was, I like to call it race spec.
Respect. I remember.
Because there was that little options inside the car. It was classed as lightweight, so it had windy windows. It didn't have literally anything. Didn't have a sunroof, didn't have aircon. It literally had a steering wheel, 4 gears, some
have a radio in
brakes. It had a radio, yeah. That was the only option they specified was, can it have a radio, dear? And that was it. And yeah, I remember actually fond memories of getting that car because I went with my granddad And bless him, my granddad didn't really know that much about cars, but he says, "Oh yeah, that's a good one, that John, you should get that." And I bought it, and I paid £700 for it. And this was back in 1999, so it was about 10-year old at the time. But yeah, it's I have got fond memories of that car.
I can remember you used to stare out your window at it. It'd be parked outside. You was parked outside. And you were that obsessed with it. You just sit there. You sat on stage. You just staring out at it. That's my car.
Oh God! But even though it was a complete piece of shit, it really was terrible. I loved it because I remember. Like, do you remember after school, like, when we were at high school and that? Like, obviously, a lot of the girls had older boyfriends, and you'd see these Nova SRs and these Escort XR3Is, but all these picking these girls up. And you're like, that's why they've got a girlfriend, because they love Novas and they love escorts and all this lot, you know. So I really wanted it. I absolutely loved it. But then the modification bug kicked in. Now,
you weren't happy with it.
Well, you know, I like to change my cars. There's always something on it I've got to kind of make my own, haven't I?
Yeah.
But before eBay, there were these things called scrapyards, which were fantastic. Like, and we literally used do you remember that one in Linthwaite at bottom of was it Eastwood, where Titanic Mill is? Was.
Don't remember one down there, no.
Yeah, literally, just if you turn off Manchester Road
on
left,
up towards Wellhouse, yeah.
Yeah, is it still there?
I know where you mean, but I don't know. I've not been down there a while, so.
Right. Well, literally, these were the days where you could roll up. They'll let you walk round, literally, like cutting your head on bits of rust sticking out of cars and that. No health and safety. You find the car you want and you pull the bits off it you want, and just take it to the front, and they'd like, oh yeah, that's a front bumper, a spoiler, a radio, yeah, that's £20, please. And it is just so bloody cheap. And I literally got all my parts off other cars and made a full Nova GT replica for about the cost of it. Cost me about £100, where these days it's about £500 for a cracked bumper off eBay. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? You know, but yeah, I have fond memories of modifying it and making it into a replica. But yeah, it was.
Pictures of that Nova.
Well, this is what I was going to say, Luke. I was meaning to text you early because I know you've got some pictures, haven't you? Yours somewhere, and I thought it'd be quite good to put them on Instagram. You know, so I'll dig some pictures out, and if you send me some. Well, mine's. Yeah, well, I think everything's linked to each other. Right, so if I put something on Instagram, it'll go on Facebook and it'll go on Twitter, etc. So, if you could dig me some pictures out, look, everyone can see what cars we're on about. You know, but look, mate, I remember, right, after I'd done all these modifications, I remember I used to get pulled by police all the bloody time. Because there's all this young lad in a Nova GTE, which obviously I was too young to insure on a GT. A GT, if you don't know what a GT is, it's a 1.6, which is the fastest one they did. So I literally, I had to keep me insurance certificate, my MOT certificate, everything in my glove box all the time. Honestly, I used to get pulled all the time.
So what did they do when they walked up to your car and just found that it was basically a go-kart
check this story out, right? It came to me the other day, right? Do you know going up to Newsham from town? There's that really steep hill with road bumps, isn't there?
Yeah.
I was going up there. This was before road bumps, right? And there was a police car coming down, and because it's were a 1 litre, I had no puff in it at all. I had to change gear and really go for it to get it up the bloody hill. So a policeman saw me drop a gear and then swung round because he thought I was trying to get away from him. I was just trying to get up the bloody hill. I remember he pulled me over and says, "What are you dropping a gear for like that?" And I says, I'm just trying to get up the hill. It's like, GTE, is it? And I'm like, no, it's a 1 litre with a cherry bomb exhaust. Oh, it used to get me in all kinds of trouble.
Mm,
Did you do any modifications to your
no, just
did you not? Air
the
freshener?
only the only modification I did to mine was when I turned it over and smashed windows,
Oh God.
crumpled roof.
Oh, how did that happen, Luke?
Uh, I were basically on my way to Cumbria because that's where Claire's from. And I'd go every other week. I'd drive there every other weekend, and the route I used, which were like shortest route there, basically took you down these tracks. You know, I've got this thing about going down tracks. Took Van down and bloody, took Van down there down a track.
Oh yeah,
stuck
we
in a
did.
bloody river.
Yeah,
But
there's a theme, isn't there?
but anyway, yeah, there's this lane, and it's only like you can fit one car down it, And I'm driving down there, and there's a car coming the other way, and he's got his full beam on, and he won't drop his full beam, and I'm flashing mine to try and get him to drop his full beam, but I can't see sides at road now because he's blinding me, he's dazzling me, and I
Yeah.
can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, I couldn't tell between where I were and the edge of his car how close I was to him, so I had to swerve to avoid him, and I ended up, my passenger side wheel went up a verge and rolled the car onto its roof. And he went. He didn't stop to see how I was, but that were it. Now we're in cars, upside down.
Oh,
And,
for God's
so
sake!
I'm suspended upside down. I'm like, oh God, what am I going to do? And then I've got my seatbelt on, thankfully.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'd probably be dead. And I'm
yeah.
like, I need to get this seatbelt off because I don't know what's going to happen. Because you can imagine
Seatbelt.
cars bloody blowing up.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going to happen. Anyway, I took my seatbelt off and I landed on my head, didn't I? Because I was upside down.
Oh, for God's sake,
I'm
Luke.
like, ow. And then, because the car were opposite way around, because it had flipped over, I was disorientated. So I know that, like, I had my phone were kind of where the door handle was, where you pull it shut. I used to
Yeah.
keep it in that little dip there.
Oh yeah, that's where your hand goes when you open a door, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I used to keep it there, and because the car were the opposite way around, I would go into passenger side door to try and find my phone.
For God's sake.
Even though the steering wheel were other side, it was just so disorientating and weird. And I found it and obviously rang my father-in-law. He wasn't my father-in-law then, but
Yeah.
he is now. And then to let him know, I said, "Don't tell Claire because she's still at work."
Yeah.
And he came to like rescue me.
What did he do? Push car over?
No, I got out and he came, and then police were there questioning me, seeing if I were drunk, and seeing if have you ever driven down this road before, and really kind of trying to incriminate me, even though really all that had
God.
happened was I'd swerved to avoid someone and rolled it onto its roof, and that's literally all that had happened. But they were really trying to kind of incriminate me as if I'd done something. But
Yeah.
anyway, that were over with, and then recovery people came and they flipped it over and put it on back of a recovery wagon, and then
No, last you saw of it, was it?
well, no, I'd had some, like me, I had a radio in there that I wanted and some CDs and that, and I had to go and find
CDs.
bloody scrap yard, find out where it was so I could go but it were a right sorry state.
I bet. CDs, Luke. Do you remember CD players in cars and you used to hit a bump? You used to skip. Gone are the days of moving parts.
I don't
Eh?
know.
Yeah, but same with police, Luke. Police used to be like that years ago. But I think there's so many cars on the road now, they're not that bothered. It's just an everyday thing now, isn't it? But yeah, back then there used to be absolute gits for it, didn't they? I remember, for doing stuff like that. But yeah,
What
do you remember
happened to
that?
your car, sorry.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
But do you remember that? Do you remember me with that big bass cannon in boot? Do you remember that bass cannon?
What,
I
in your
had
car?
In my Nova, yeah, my first one. Had
Is
this
that the
big.
one that ended up in van?
Yes, that is the one that ended up in the works van. Because it's a funny story with that, I had an Alpine head unit, which is a really expensive head unit, and I had this bass cannon in boot, and it got broke into. outside my mum's house. And obviously, I woke up in the morning, my window had been put in. Oh, they don't lock, I think. Lock out window, one at two. Because they're easy to get into Novas. I think a child could get into it, a toddler or something. But yeah, they took the stereo and they took the bass cannon. And I told the police, and about 2 weeks later, says, "Oh yeah, I think we've got all your stuff here." I ended up getting the stereo back and the bass cannon, but for some weird reason, they've been inside the bass cannon and took the amplifier out of it, and I could never understand why they did that. It's really strange, but they caught them in Halifax. I've been going around like a gang, just going people's cars and nicking stereos. Mm-hmm. And obviously, me being me, these were the days when you used to advertise what stereo you had in your car by putting in big letters on your back windscreen what make of stereo it was. Yeah. So I had this big Alpine sticker, and they're just bloody shopping. And, oh, he's got an Alpine, I'll have one of them. Oh, he's got a Sony in his. So yeah, I remember that. But yeah, they don't bother these days, do they? I think cars have got decent stereos in them as standard now, a lot of them, haven't they?
But it's all built in as well. You don't have you don't put it in and take it out anymore, do you? It's all built in anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of it's got like auxiliary ports and stuff, so you can just plug your stereo, your Bluetooth in it, But I'll tell you one mod that I did to my car. This will make you laugh. My little 1 litre must have only had about 40 horsepower. It was terrible. And I thought I'd try and make it faster. And one modification I did was I drilled holes in the airbox to try to make it go faster and sound a bit better. So I had these, they were about the size of a penny, these little, I got a drill and drilled all the way around because it was one of these old flat cylinder ones, if you can imagine it. It looked like a biscuit tin that sat over the it wasn't injection, it was carburettor. So I drilled in around the edge of it, if you can imagine, and then I put some tights around it to stop debris getting in. So it worked a treat. It was great. But then I went to see this girl that I were dating at the time, and she'd moved. She was working on a summer camp over the summer. Yeah. And anyway, it was a 3-hour journey to bloody Dewsbury to see this girl. And anyway, drove up there. 3-hour journey.
Did you?
No, Shrewsbury. Not bloody Dewsbury.
Dewsbury.
No. That would have been longest bloody drive ever, going around in circles to get to Dewsbury.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it took me 3 hours. But anyway, on the way there, a bloody torrential rainstorm happened. So I'm on motorway, it's banging down, and my car starts going, what the fuck's going on? Like that. Anyway, it pulls over, pops the bonnet, and all bloody water were going straight into the bloody car where it drilled holes. So I had to get some tape and wrap it up. To put insulation tape around it, and then oh dear, the things you do to try and get a bit more power out of your car. Oh, you'd obviously had this big cherry bomb exhaust, which just made the most racket, and it had the worst rasp when you came off throttle. So it does to go like that. If you've ever
owned driving through Slough when you come up to see us,
Yeah.
I could hear you like 2 mile down the road coming through Slough.
Setting car alarms off.
John's near.
Oh God, yeah. But I mean, if you've ever owned a Nova, you'll know the rasp. It always had a rasp on. It used to sound shit. You go like that. But yeah, some bloody good memories. But yeah, that were that.
What happened to it?
And I'm nearly there. I was going to say. I mean, also, obviously, when you have your first car, you're normally living with your parents, aren't you? When you've got your first car, and then obviously you tend to get a girlfriend when you've got a car, 'cause it attracts a bit of female attention. You know what I mean?
Maybe for you. Not when you're in a metallic blue Corsa.
Granny
Electric
spec.
blade.
Really, see if you'd modified yours and made it look like a GSI, mate, you'd have been laughing. And you would come to cruises with
Light
me.
blue GSI.
Yeah,
Don't they come in certain colours?
yeah, probably. Yeah, I think Arden Blue was the one it came in. Oh God, but yeah, what tends to happen though, because you probably know, is your first car also doubles as a bedroom if you're caught in, doesn't it? So yeah, yes, that car was used for other things as well as driving. It was also used for entertaining the ladies.
Oh dear.
Was yours used for entertaining the ladies?
No.
You never christened the blue one?
No, never.
Oh dear. I thought you might have a little story about that, Luke.
No, sadly not.
Christening. Yeah.
I think
Oh,
anyway, carry on.
what the hell was that? It was just like, I think it was the.
No.
I mean, you just hang.
It was the new channels van.
The new channels
The
van.
new channels van, yeah.
You christened the new channels
Oh
van.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, didn't know about that. Do you have a mattress in the back of it? Oh, what, Luke?
So let's move on.
Okay. Be a lot of clanging with those dishes. Anyway. So, a little story, right, about this Red Nova as well. I had a lot of fond memories. Do you remember down in Linthwaite? Funny enough, straight across the road from the scrapyard, there is a garage, which is still running to this day, I think, where the petrol station is. It's a garage and a petrol station. Manchester Road, Linthwaite. Jesus Christ, look, you bloody live that road from here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think where you mean.
If you're coming from town,
There's that Cowersley though. There's Cowersley and then.
no,
Oh,
no, you're on Manchester Road. A
Talking
garage.
about where that car wash is, that and car wash.
Has it turned into an hand car wash now?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Right, well, that used to be a garage.
There's an
and
MOT
it used-
centre on it as well.
Yeah, well, I went there because my car was
Or
due
you
an
turn
MOT.
left down into Mills Bridge if you're going towards town.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
So I went there. I think it was had an MOT or it might have needed a tyre or something. Anyway, they had an apprentice there working on mine. And anyway, I picked it up. She said, "Yeah, it's all done. It's past its MOT, blah, blah, blah." These are when you used to get a little A5 piece of paper with a stamp in it to say it's been MOT'd. That's how long ago it was. Anyway, picked it up and me and my mate were driving down Manchester Road and then we could hear this noise. Like a gudung, 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 gudung. What the fuck's going on? Gudung, gudung, gudung. Stopped the car. Bloody apprentice hadn't put wheel on properly. He'd hand tightened the nuts and the fucking wheel was like that.
God. So he'd not tighten nuts up right.
No! So I'm driving that road with fucking wheel hanging off. Oh God! But we went back. I think we tightened him up with his fingers best we could, and then just crawled it back and complained. And they were like really apologetic about it. No wonder they're a hand car wash now. But yeah, God, I remember that. That was something. Wardy, do you remember Wardy?
Wardy. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's quite funny actually. This lockdown, I've got back in touch with him actually. So yeah, he's still in Old Huddersfield, you know. But yeah, him had noticed it. It was quite funny that. Did your engine have any little quirks? I think yours were a bit newer than mine, so I probably didn't. But mine used to. I used to have to bring water bottles with me everywhere because I used to drink water because a gasket had gone. I don't think I'd never had it serviced or anything because I just didn't know any better. And yeah, I just used to drink water. So I used to have constant water bottles in the back of my car and I'm just topping it up all the time.
You say you had to have oil in back and all because it were. Oh, was that your
No, that with the GSI, that one. But we'll probably come to that at some point if we've got time. But yeah, this is where I'm gonna talk about how my first car actually ended as well, and I have got pictures of it, so I will stick it on Instagram at some point. But yeah, it's very similar to Luke's story, apart from I was just being a complete idiot. I used to Was this my ex, wasn't it? I used to go to Sheffield a lot to see. Me and Luke have got this weird thing of finding females that live fucking miles away from us. But anyway, I was on my way back from seeing my ex, and we're flying back on these country lanes back from Sheffield through past Wortley. You know Wortley, don't you? Mm. Wortley and then Bird's Edge. Just before you get to Bird's Edge is a really bad corner. And I used to be a decent driver. I used to be very cautious, but I've been hanging about with these idiots in Wakefield that used to drive like idiots. And I thought, I can drive like that and I'll get away with it. But it really wet, this road, and I just literally just turned wheel. And I was doing about 80 miles an hour and just turned wheel. And because it was greasy, it just understeered straight off. And I hit this wall. I must have been doing about 70 miles an hour. And it hit the wall, dug into the wall, but then it flipped the car up. And it went up into the air, landed on its side, and then landed on its roof. And I can remember thinking, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, like that. And then it was scraping along on its roof for ages. And then there was a car going over way. I thought, oh, no, I'm going to hit this car. Well, luckily, they stopped, and I just hit the curb. And I was like, I was suspended upside down. And the best thing was, because it was an old car, next thing I could smell petrol, and there was petrol peeing out of the blooming down the side of the car. Oh, God. So I was like, oh no, I've got to get out, it's going to blow. So I undid my seatbelt. All blooming, all the headrests had come off because there weren't no other headrests. I nicked them out of this Cavalier about a scrapyard, so all headrests had flown off. I get out, and then on my knees, like, really hurting. And I'm trying to get out, and luckily windows were smashed. So I pulled myself out, and this passerby actually got me under arms and pulled me out and pulled me away from car. But I couldn't stand up. And it was because
day or night?
Luckily it was in day, yeah. And people had stopped and what have you. And I'd smashed on my knee. My knee had hit the dashboard. And I think because it was quite an old rectangular dashboard, it actually cut me knee open. And I still got the scar today, actually, but I was lucky. And but like you were saying, Luke, everyone were really good, apart from police. They actually brought me in. No, before I get to that bit, I remember ambulance came and everything, put me in a neck brace, put me back at ambulance, took me to Barnsley Hospital. Right. Because that was the nearest hospital at the time. And I remember being laid in bed. And the thing is, I wasn't that bothered about the car, really, because I had a lot of things wrong with it anyway. And my brain started going, and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to get a faster one now. I'm going to get an Nova SR. And I remember sat in this hospital bed, right, with this neck brace on, and my mum coming in, and she was obviously really upset because they didn't tell her out. Yeah. She thought I'd been in a really bad way. And says, "Hiya, Mum, you alright?" She went, "Oh my God," and gave me a hug like that.
I know what your mum's like.
Yeah. And I said, Mum, I'm alright, don't worry, I'm fine. Here, Mum, I'm going to buy a faster one. I'm going to buy a Nova SR. You are not! Oh, bad. But police were really bad with me. Like, really, really bad. They made me go back to, I think it was Sheffield police station, and they actually started recording me. Like, a proper interview, and my granddad was with me. And he sat with me through interview, and the questions they were asking, they were really hard on me, saying, "So, you say you were doing 60 mile an hour?" I says, "Yeah, that's the speed limit, innit?" He says, "Yes, but were you driving too fast for the conditions?" Like this. And I said, "Well, I don't think I was, no." And then he says, "Were you driving too fast for the conditions?" Like, really, I can remember myself welling up, like, because he was, like, really harsh with me. And, in the end, I just says, "Yeah, I probably was, yeah, I'm sorry," kind of thing. And then I think, and he was saying like you could lose your license, you could, all this lot, and I'm thinking, oh God. But now looking back on it, he probably did that just
frightening you into like
on purpose.
Being more careful,
yeah, definitely, because I could have hit that car that came over way and all kinds. I could have not just myself, but I could have hurt someone else. Because at that age, you just feel you're invincible, don't you? You've got no driving experience.
The way I was driving my car, but when I crashed my car, I was just reckless,
Yeah.
You know, it was partly my fault, really, because...
Well, you didn't.
Well, no, I'd say...
You probably had stopped, wouldn't it? Now, if it was the same situation, you would probably would have just pulled over and let him
Yeah,
pass, or
but no,
something.
I
Wouldn't
wasn't driving too fast for the situation. I'd slowed down at that point. But prior to that, I was driving too fast. You know,
Yeah.
not really. I knew the road. I knew where bends were and where dips were and all that kind of stuff. So I knew road. I'd driven it that many times, but
You just didn't have
sometimes
the
you think to
experience.
yourself, I know it road, so I'll be all right. But you're not thinking about what's round corner.
Exactly, which is you get when you're older, isn't it?
Exactly. So,
That's where experience comes in. It's
Yeah.
all about experience 'cause you're always learning, aren't you? But I remember a letter coming through from police about 2 weeks later saying, we're just, you're going to we'll give you a caution. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I'm worried about losing my license and that,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
But it's
oh,
funny
that
because
was
when
crazy.
I crashed my car, I went to hospital after I'd gone home and I'd like beans on toast. You know what I mean?
Beans
Instead
that'll
of checking
sort you
yourself
out.
Instead of it wasn't beans and toast, it were like spaghetti hoops and chips or something. Because I were at Claire's house and that. I
Yeah.
went there and I thought I'll go to hospital and get myself checked out, but not before I've had this. Spaghetti hoops and chips.
Were you all right then? Did they do
Yeah,
your
I
full
was fine,
checkup?
Yeah, they gave me a checkup and I were all right. So it was just car that
that's
were in
good.
bad nick.
Yeah. Did the insurance company give you what you wanted for it? How much did you pay for it?
No, I were in debt. I had to pay them.
You what? How does that work
That's
then?
a long story.
Well, you bought the car on tick, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you div.
Yeah.
What you like?
So, yeah, I was still paying for the car when it had been scrapped.
That's harsh, that.
Yeah, so I couldn't afford another car.
So what did you do then?
Buses and stuff, yeah.
For how long?
Ages, until I'd paid it back. I ended up asking my dad to help me out, and
Jesus.
and then
So
I ended
how
up
did you
buying,
see Claire then?
trains, just to get train up.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's
And
terrible.
then, they'd meet me in Carlisle and stuff like that, and drive me there. Or sometimes, like, a dad would, he'd just like take pity on me, and I'd already bought a bloody train ticket, and he'd like not take me to the train station, and you should go turn right down M6 and take me home,
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. But
As he's mumbling, why couldn't she met someone right bloody corner?
no, I thought, good news,
Oh
but yeah,
dear,
trains,
drive you
and
that
then
way
I ended
out
up
from
buying a black Corsa.
that SXI, I remember that.
Yeah. But because what were it now? Yeah, I bought that, and it were another one of them situations where you're conned into buying something. Because I went to Whiteley Motors at Cooper Bridge, and I went in and I was looking. I'd been to Vauxhall Garage and I'd seen this.
SXI.
No, what's the next one up? SXI Plus.
Well, there's an SRI as well, isn't there?
Yeah, it were an SXI Plus, and I saw that, and I looked how much it was, and I thought, oh, no, I don't think so. And I ended up going and to this Whiteley to see if they were out there, and I saw another black Corsa there, and this was like a week and a bit later, and I went and had a look at it, and I thought, and I drove it this time, and stuff, and I thought, yeah, I think I'll have this, and anyway, I bought it, but it turned out it were more expensive than that SXI Plus I'd seen at the Vauxhall Garage. I'd completely forgotten about that car, so I could have had a better car for less money.
What did the Plus have then?
I think it just had more bloody, I don't know, more features in it, I don't know, but it obviously it means something.
Leather seats.
Maybe, something like that, yeah. So that's another example.
Air freshener.
Another example of me not doing it, not doing it properly.
Have you learnt your lesson now, Luke?
The day after I bought that car, I was driving to Cumbria again to see Claire. And I got clocked at 99 mile an hour on M6.
What?
I saw the copper in the distance. and I was like, shit. So I put my brakes on, but I didn't
Yeah.
slam on because I thought if he sees my bonnet go down, so I did it like gradually. Um, but it was too late. He'd already got me, but he'd got me only at 99 miles an hour because I know I was doing about 110 prior to that.
Luke.
And I'd only had the car about a day. It was still in what's it called when it's between owners? Like it's owned by a garage in it, and then they probably
Yeah.
sent papers on. Like I don't know what they call
New
it.
keeper. Yep,
Yeah, it's
you
a
were
new key,
new
but
keeper.
basically
Yeah.
it's between owners, and so it wasn't registered to me. The car wasn't registered to me, and so anyway, he pulled me over, and he goes, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I says, "Yeah, I know. I was driving too fast." And so, "Why didn't you brake? Why didn't you put your brakes on?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I just didn't want to slam on. I thought it'd be dangerous to slam on, and I didn't want to make it look like I were going that fast. I had to slam on and that, and because it was too late. But by the time I saw you, it was too late, And so anyway, I took a slap up back at hand and a fine and some
How
points.
much did you get?
It's too long ago. I can't remember, but I got some points. But because I was within 2 years of passing my test, I had to redo my test. I had to redo my theory test. I had to redo my practical test. And I failed my practical test twice for speeding.
Oh, Luke.
No, once. Yeah,
What the
twice.
hell?
I failed it for speeding. Yeah, my second lot of test, I failed it for speeding.
Oh, Luke. How many times did it take you past the test first time?
Twice.
So you passed on your second time. You passed your theory the first time, I take it.
Yeah.
It used to be a
And
piece of
then I
piss,
had
didn't
to
it?
redo it all again, and I failed my first time on my second time round, and then passed on my second time round.
Jesus.
And I
So you
failed
must
it
have
for
got more than 6 points then, because that's what they do. You only got
No,
to take your
it's
test if it's.
if you get 6 points. If you get 6 points within your first 2 years, you have to do it all again.
So he gave you were lucky not to be banned, because
Oh
I've
yeah,
heard
'cause
they can
100
take the
mile an
keys
hour,
off you.
100 mile an
Yeah,
hour, you're banned. Yeah,
I thought it was
it was
more.
99 miles an hour. He got me.
Jesus, Luke, what were you doing?
Just I
So,
wanted to get there. You know. He
ah,
says, "Where have you come from?" And I said, "So and so." And where are you going? And I said, "There." And he says, how many miles is it approximately? And I said, "It's about 156 miles." And so
yeah.
he did some calculations on his little machine and stuff like that. He goes, if you'd been driving at 90 miles an hour from there to there, he says you'd have got there 5 minutes earlier.
Wow.
So he says, is there any need for speeding? Is there any point? And I said, no, you're right, there isn't.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a good copper though, that ain't it really? Because he could have banned you there and then. God. So you hadn't learnt then.
No, I suppose I hadn't. No.
And that's the thing, like, you must have just had a heavy right foot, because you were never really into cars. Where I was going off with my first car, I was doing it up and going to cruises and stuff in Wakefield and doing all kinds of silly stuff like doing burnouts and stuff like that. And you're on your way to see your missus because you got a heavy foot. I mean, all right, 100. I didn't even know a Corsa 1.2 could go that fast, Luke, to be fair.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was about the maximum you could get out of it.
Jesus, Luke.
So,
I think mine topped out at about 90, so it was probably more like 85 with that 1 litre Nova I had.
I liked that car. I did. I was quite fond of it. But
Yeah. Didn't you have to get? Didn't something go wrong? There was too much go wrong with it.
yeah,
And then
I
MOT
think it had
had
been owned by like someone had trashed it. Previous owner. Stuff were going
Really?
wrong with it all the time. Like it ended up with a new engine in it at one point.
What?
Yeah, it was knackered, and by
Sure, you want you doing 100 mile an hour in
no,
it?
it were already knackered before I bought it, and because I was still paying for it, I had to wait till I'd like finished paying for it before I could think about getting something else, and I couldn't even use it as a deposit. So I ended up. What did I go to next? Ford. I got a Fiesta, that white Fiesta.
Oh, that was nice. That
Yeah.
was a nice car. That was probably the best car you've had.
Yeah.
I'd say. Well, apart from Tuscan you've got now. That's a nice motor. But yeah, nah, mate, you didn't have much luck, did you?
It was like driving a new. I looked after that car so well.
What, the Fiesta?
Fiesta, yeah, and it was like driving a new car. Every time I got in it, I loved that car. I was so sad to get rid of that. I had to get a bigger car because I started having kids, but
yeah.
I mean,
So you didn't fancy a Focus then?
No, not really.
Because they do a Focus ST Estate, which has got a big boot.
Estate car, though.
No, but it looks smart. They do look smart even today.
Yeah,
it was a nice car. That I remember that.
Driving away from that after getting that Mocha. Went to get a Mocha then.
Yeah, and you
Vauxhall. I vowed never to go to Vauxhall ever again, and I thought, I like that. I quite like that car.
Yeah.
I went and got it, and I remember driving away from that and just looking back at it and just thinking, Fezzy. I'm really sad to see it go. I'm just really sad to see it go.
You have to buy another one when you're old and do one up. A white one. I've got bloody too many cars to go on it. Well, I'll quickly go fruitless, but after I killed that Nova, I did get my faster Nova, didn't I?
Yeah.
I had the blue one, which appeared in last week's video, didn't I? Which was a 1.4 SR, which were the last of the old shapes, and it had a 1400 instead of a 1300. It was quite rare, and it was in that metallic blue. After that, I had the... What car did I have after? I had a Cavalier. Do you remember that black Cavalier? No, it wasn't. Yeah. Yes, it was. It was the black Cavalier, wasn't it? I bought it for my mate for 250 quid because it was a stolen recovered car. However, what he didn't tell me was it was still registered stolen. So well, the thing was, right, I had that, listen to this, right, I had that car for about a month. And do you remember James? James had recently moved to Leeds, right, and he needed a car, and he really liked this Cavalier. And because obviously we're in Huddersfield, there were not many of that police about, were there? But James had moved to Leeds, and he says, "Oh, how much do you want for it?" I says, "Look," I only paid 250 quid for it. Give me 250 quid, you can have it. He gets it, takes it to Leeds. Next thing, I keep getting phone calls from James saying, "I keep getting pulled over by police all the time, John."
Did you do it?
I told him, I says, "Look, I've rang DVLA, I've told him I've bought a stolen recovered car, but he hadn't gone on the system yet, so bless him, James was just getting pulled over all the time in being in Leeds, speaking in Nick to Cavalier." Oh dear, but then I got an in-between car, didn't I? Oh, I got that Astra GTE, do you remember that silver one?
Yeah.
I really liked that car, but that had an electrical fire. And it died. No, they couldn't repair it, and they had it for about 6 months. Denard had it. Do you remember Denard? There was this black lad from Huddersfield, and he was an electrician, but he was slowest electrician ever. She's like, "Yeah, I'll be ready next week, mate." And I'm like, "All right." 6 months later, "Have you fixed it yet?" "No, I can't fix it." I'm like, for God's sake. I give him I got a new harness from Scrappers. I gave it a new ECU, everything, still wouldn't run. I had to sell it for spares and repairs in the end, but I really like that car. And then I had, do you remember the convertible Astra that I had? All these pictures I put on Instagram. I had a blue. It was basically a mobile bathtub, right? Because it just leaked like a sieve. It stunk. It was blue, dark metallic blue, and it had a Burberry interior. And I literally had that for about a couple of months, just as a in between car. Do you remember the Belmont I had? I had it in between. Well, I lost my job, and I had to have an in between car. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Your brother's had a boot as well.
Yeah.
But mine I bought for £70, right? 70 quid, right? Because I lost my job and I needed a car to get about. And I bought that delivery driver job, an in-between job I got. And the paint, all lacquer were falling off of it. And, and it had a cardboard window. One of the windows were cardboard. Someone had broken into it. And I remember Part X in it for that convertible. And he put it up for sale. Well, I don't know. He just gave me 100 quid for it. So I didn't care because I only paid 70 quid for it. But he put it for sale. outside at road and it got nicked. These were days when you could buy cars for 70 quid, you know. But anyway, what did I get? I was sick of having all Vauxhalls by that point. And then that's when I went more modern. Do you remember that? I had a Mark IV Astra Coupe Turbo.
Yeah.
That were gorgeous, that, wasn't it? And that were quick. That were like 200 horsepower, that. And I had that for a while. But then my dream car, do you remember what my dream car was? I always said to you, do you remember when we were working at Cable? You and me, and we went to that house. And he says, "Yeah, do you like cars?" And we were like, it's in Bradford. He says, yeah, we like cars. He says, "Come here." And he walked us into his garage. And there was this car under this cover. And he says, "Watch this." And he pulled the cover back. And under covers were this beautiful dark silver Honda S2000. Remember? And I says, "Oh," I said, "It don't even come out in this country. I've just had it imported." He says, "Do you want me to start it up?" I says, "Go on then, yeah, go on, start it up." And he starts it up. And the engine sounded amazing. And he revved it. It was like, I was only 18. I was like, I've got to have one of them. Got to have one of them. And after I had that Astra, I got that exact model. It was a 1999, which is the same year it is. Yeah. It was dark silver with red leather seats, and it was beautiful. And the best car I ever had. I had it for 7 years. I went to south of France in it. I did track days in it. I joined a car club. I did meets in it. Best car I ever had. Most fun I've ever had. I think I bought it with 68,000 on, and I sold it with 106,000 on it. And it was still going strong, and I'd really driven that car hard, but I'd looked after it as well, though. But I loved every minute. And you know something? I still have notifications on my phone, look, when it gets MOT'd and stuff.
Really?
And, yeah, it tells me when it's MOT, but it's really sad because this was last year was the last, it was due for its MOT last year, 2020, and this is the first year it had never been MOT'd, so it's either been crashed or it's been stored or it's been crushed, and I don't know how to get that information because I would actually like to buy it back at some point. But yeah, and then after that, what did I have after S2000? I had to sell it because I had Grayson on way, didn't we? So I ended up getting an RX-8 after. Remember that white RX-8 I had? Put a body kit on it. I don't think you ever saw it because
No, I remember having that, and then. But did you have it for long? You didn't have it.
no,
for
I
that
didn't.
long,
Well,
did you?
problem was, right, I picked it up and I sent it straight to the body shop to have a body kit put on it. And I got it back, and then that's when I realised how bad on fuel it was. It was 16 miles per gallon.
Oh, God.
16 miles per gallon, and that is the worst car I've ever had for fuel. I couldn't afford to run it, and tax for £500 a year.
Right.
So I was a bit gutted. And then that's when I got, what did I get after? I got a BMW after that. Remember that, the silver one?
Yeah.
The saloon, that was gorgeous. I really liked it, but I stupidly got it how I wanted it. Grayson came along, and I was like, the back seats don't drop down on it. BMW made it an option, and I'd pick car with that bloody option on it, so you couldn't drop back seats down to get his fucking pram and that. So I got that just how I wanted it, and then I had to sell it to get something else, and that's when I got the Mercedes ML, which was perfect. And we actually went to Belgium in that because it was big, it was comfortable, it had everything, and that's when really enjoyed that car. But I wanted something a little bit more. Because I liked the car so much, I was like, I want something a little bit bigger. So that's when I got the GL. But little did I realise how bad on fuel it was. Again, 22 to gallon. It had everything. Like, it was like driving around in your living room. Like, it had air suspension, so you couldn't feel any bumps. It had, well, you saw it. It had full beige leather inside, sunroof, TVs, factory fitted TVs in back, everything. But it just cost so much to run, and then COVID hit, and we never used it, and it was just drinking fuel. Cost £500 a year tax, and that's when I sold it, and that's why we're getting this car now, which leads us on to obviously the start of this conversation, which is first cars. So that's my car history in about 5 minutes. And you're up to your car history now, aren't you? What are you on now?
That Mocha, didn't I? Got rid of that Fiesta.
Did you like that car then? Did you like it?
The Mocha?
Yeah. Or did you always miss
the colour of it.
Yeah, it was a nice colour, that.
Because it was like a burnt orange colour. I like the colour of it, and then it was comfortable to drive, but it was just basically a car on stilts.
Yeah.
It wasn't an SUV. I think it was classed as a crossover
Crossover.
SUV.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, and it was just a tall car, really.
Yeah. And you
But
probably
I
would have been
liked
better with an estate, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I liked it, and we kept it for a while. But when we knew we're having another baby, then that's when I got rid of that and got this Hyundai Tucson.
Yeah.
And I love that car.
Yeah. Is that what you're driving now?
Yeah, that's what we've got now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you still love it, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think.
Awesome.
When we come
You
to
get
renew
another?
it, I think I'll probably get another.
Because they've changed the new shape now, aren't they? They're really nice. Is it a completely new car, or have they just facelifted it?
It's a new car. Yeah, it's got a new chassis, and it looks different. You know, it's nice.
Is there anything options wise you get extra on it this time?
You don't know. It's not options. It's like there's entry models, and then you've got like basically specs, and that's literally it. You either get the basic model, and then the next one's called the nav, which is what we've got, which is basically everything, and then the next one up is basically the nav, but with like a sunroof
and leather seats and stuff.
Yeah, leather seats, and that's it. So there's like 3 grades. But yeah, so.
Oh, that's cool,
I really
man.
like that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
Well,
got the
I'll have
room
to.
that we need, and
Yeah,
I remember coming to see you in it, and like,
I remember you taking me for a test drive in it.
You went for a test drive in it, and I'm like, oh, just press that button there, John.
Yeah.
Because we went on motorway, didn't we? And I'm like, oh, press that button there, because it's a button called lane keep assist, and basically, as long as you keep your hand on the steering wheel, you don't really have to steer, because there's 2 cameras that look at the lines on the road, and it keeps the car inside the lines.
Right.
It just has to sense that your hand's on the steering wheel, and then but it does the rest of it itself. So if you've got cruise control on and you've got lane keep assist on, the car basically drives itself. So I was saying, oh, John, press that button, and you could feel like steering wheel snap, couldn't you? And you're like, what the hell's going on?
I know. It was like you're fighting with it because it's trying to pull you in the middle, and I didn't like it. It's clever though, really clever.
It's like an unnatural thing, in it. You kind of you want to be in control of it. Yeah, in control, but you kind of it's just I like to use that.
It's it's a good feature. That obviously I'll have to tell you about the car probably next week, but obviously that A-Class should be delivered here this week, hopefully. And that's got this thing called Park Assist, which is one of the options we wanted on it. And it's basically, it parallel parks itself.
Oh, is it that feature? Yeah, I've seen
that. And you take your hands off the steering wheel, and the steering wheel just turns and goes in. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to having a go with that, see what it's like, you know. But yeah, looking forward to it. But anyway, it's probably
next week.
Next week,
I think we
haven't done any reflection. Look, we haven't done any reflection. We need to reflect on new cars, and I think one of those things is obviously don't buy a Nova.
Don't buy a Vauxhall.
Don't buy a Vauxhall. Buy something that you'd be happy crashing in.
Good. They might look okay and stuff like that, but really, they're just expensive, and you when you've got it, you feel like I could probably have a bit more for my money, you know.
Yeah.
Tacky, aren't they? And they're very kind of.
Well, you say that, Luke.
Something different.
Yeah, but you say that, Luke. But I think that you've got to remember is we both walked away from quite bad crashes.
Yeah, but I bought that Mocha, didn't I? And I always felt like it won, and really, it didn't do.
I'm talking about first cars, Luke. This episode's about, obviously, first cars. So what I'm saying is reflection about your first car. What would you do different? What would you give advice to people that are listening to this who just bought the first car, thinking about buying the first car?
If you're thinking about buying your first car, make sure you take someone with you who knows what they're talking about.
Yes. Good advice, that,
Don't
Luke.
take the first offer. Don't say, I'm going to give you this. And when they offer you a trade-in for the car that you've got, if you're going to buy your second car, don't take the first offer.
I'd add to that, Luke. if you can, sell the car privately because you get a hell of a lot more money for it anyway. Like, I'm talking thousands more. I got offered $5,000 for that GL. I sold it for 8. So that's a lot of money. And don't be conned into these blooming WeBuyAnyCar.com because that's how they make all the money. Yeah. But Vauxhall, having a first car as your Vauxhall, what would you say to that? Like I say, we've both been in bad accidents where we flipped upside down and we walked away from them pretty
Yeah,
unscathed.
I suppose that Corsairs are pretty well built.
Yeah.
You know, they're quite solid. So I think I'm just thinking about my experience with that black Corsair and then the Mocha and stuff like that. I'm thinking about that. But yeah, they're quite pretty solid with that Corsair. So yeah, I'm quite pleased I walked away all right from that.
Yeah, I mean, they are good cars, aren't they? As in, they're safe. So what I'm trying to say is, first bit of advice from Luke would be take someone with you
When you're buying
who knows
a
what
first
they're on
car,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, give it because my granddad didn't know what he was on about. I just bought the first car I saw. Don't rush into it. Find the car you want and don't look at one. Look at a few, and then you'll see from the condition of it which one's the best car, and then take it from there. And obviously, if you're going to buy a first car, make sure it's safe, for God's sake. We were quite lucky. We bought pretty safe-ish cars, and we walked away from it. So make sure it's a safe car, and just think to yourself, well, would I want to be in a crash in this? Because most than likely, your first car, you're going to crash it anyway. So make sure it's got airbags. Make sure that it's well built, at the end of the day.
Make sure
Because
it's not been in a crash before.
yes, don't buy a Cat N, Cat C, Cat S, whatever they call them now, different category. Don't bother. If the car's been pranged, it's going to be structurally weaker than a car that hasn't been in a prang. So try that out. Don't think with your head, not with your heart when you come into buy a new car. You know what I mean? Other thing I wrote down here is take your time getting used to driving, because I think once you pass your driving test, you feel like you've had the shackles removed from you, and you're just a driving god, and you're not. You're not prepared. Just take your time. Don't be peer pressured by your mates to go faster, for God's sake, 'cause you'll end up killing yourself. But it's not about just killing yourself or hurting yourself, is it, Luke? It's other people on road. Like, how would you feel if I feel like I'm lecturing people here? But let's say, for instance, God forbid, you were driving a bit like a dickhead, and you lose control and going across the road and killing a family in their car with kids in, or even running someone over with kids. How bad would you feel? You'd end up in prison. There's a lot of implications. So please take your time, be safe, build yourself up. Everyone just wants to get A to B safely, and everyone wants to get home at night, don't they? Look at end of the day. So there you go. That's the thought of the day. So next week, look, what are we going to talk about next week?
I think we should talk about Morecambe.
Ooh, Morecambe. I like it.
Might sound
I like
random. Might sound like a random thing to talk about, but obviously we'll talk about it next week, and you'll see what all that were about.
Yeah,
But
these are
it's a bit
some
of a
very.
day trip for us, wasn't it? And
It's our first holiday together. I think that's the
Yeah,
best way to put it, wasn't it?
But yeah, we'll talk about that next week, and I'm sure there's other things that we can talk about next week, because it won't be able to talk about Morecambe for an hour, but let's just bring that up next week.
Definitely. Okay. Well, I had something different wrote down, but it's fine.
Go on.
We'll go with Morecambe. I was gonna say stuff we used to get up to after school. That's another one, but we'll save that for another episode. But we'll do Morecambe.
I don't think Morecambe will last a whole episode, so we can do that
you
as
know?
well.
All right then. So we'll tie it in then. We'll probably talk a bit about Morecambe, and then we'll tell you what we used to get up to after school before the internet, as it were. As always, please get in touch. We are on Twitter at Aimless Yarn. We're on Facebook at Aimless Yarn again. We've got email address, haven't we, Luke?
Aimless Yam.
Yam.
Aimless Yam.
Oh God, I can put my teeth in, Luke. I can put my teeth in. But we've got email account as well, haven't we, Luke?
Yeah, aimless.yarn@outlook.com.
Yeah. Does that work for you, Luke? Because it stopped working for me for some reason on my phone.
Yeah, I can go in there, no problem.
I've got one email that's been the same email for about 6 weeks. It's brilliant. Anyway, I'll talk about it after the podcast.
Then we're on YouTube as well. If you're listening to us on the podcast, then you could always go to YouTube and you can watch us on there as well. All the episodes that are on the podcast are on there as videos on YouTube. Just search for Aimless Yarn on there. Everything, you can just search for Aimless Yarn and you'll find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube,
Everything,
wherever. Facebook.
Yeah. And I will try. I'm a bit slack on the old Instagram at the minute. I've been just taking pictures of random stuff, as it were, just to tie in with the aimless kind of stuff we get up to. But I will put some pictures of first cars on there, so you can have a look what we're on about. And I think I've even got a picture of it crashed as well, which I'll put on there.
I look forward to seeing that. I don't think I've seen that before.
Have you not?
No.
I'll definitely put it on.
Subscribe the videos on YouTube as well.
Please, and comment.
Ring the bell for notifications. Comment it. Because that helps grow the channel. You get more people subscribing to the videos. It helps grow the channel. Which might give us a bit of a bit of revenue because obviously we've paid for all we've paid all equipment that we use on this podcast. And it's our own time, and that we not that we have much time. We're having kids and that, but. It would be nice eventually one day maybe to make a bit of money, just to cover our costs, basically. Plugs and info, Luke. I think it's good to mention if you are a new driver, I really would recommend a car control day. Get it booked. It's probably one of the best things I ever did. So if you do get into a bit of a scary situation, you do know how to control the car. They do skid pans and like driving on an airfield and that's a really good thing to do. Also, track days, they're not very expensive. You can get the car control days for about £80. Same for track days, for about £100. That'll teach you how to drive a car. Also, plugs for your channel, Luke. Yeah, it's just Luke S Film. That's where all the movies that we talked about last week are on. Cannablis, Stellar Trek 2, Million. They're all just the films that were made in the past, basically. They're all on YouTube. Luke S Film.
And obviously
hopefully I might make another film soon, because I'm chomping at the bit. I don't know what it's going to be about, but hopefully we'll make one soon.
Lucapilla the movie.
Lucapilla the movie, yeah.
And don't forget my channel as well, obviously. If you're into your cars, it is Carflix, spelled Carflix. It's mine's a little symbol of a little guy, looks like he's driving a car, not an orange guy. Not confused with a Brazilian garage in Brazil. Anyway, that's it from our podcast.
What are you talking about?
I'll quickly touch on. Well, there's a Brazilian garage with the same bloody name. Can you believe it?
Carflix.
Yes. Yeah. Oh dear. But anyway, listen, thanks ever so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Like I say, we do this out of fun. We do this getting us through this COVID lark, and if we can make someone smile and get you through your day, then we've done our job.
Yeah.
So there you go. So thanks ever so much for watching, and it's bye from me.
And bye from him.
See you on the next one.
See you. Bye.
Bye.